just make sure that, you go for it, right? The only person that will hold you back is yourself. Hi there, Alastair Swift here. I'm the head of corporate risks and broking, which is a division of an insurance broking company called Willis Towers Watson, where we specialise in placing and trading insurance for our clients with insurance companies. As a business, from a cultural perspective, what we've tried to do is get to create an employer that is incredibly inclusive and diverse. Now, traditionally, that hasn't been how the insurance broking industry has been. So it would be fair to say I am probably the epitome of the insurance industry, if you think of it as being, white, stale, pale and male, right? But that is not where we want the industry to go. And the reason for that is, if you're going to run a good organisation, you should be embracing diversity. You should be embracing different thought processes. In my career, I've worked for lots of different people over the years, and I've valued the different inputs that they've been able to create for me. And I believe that's made me a better leader of a business as a result. And so if you take that and you play that out as a company as a whole, companies will be more successful if they create, diverse thought, a diverse culture, and are embracing of it and listen to it. And so that's very much one of the things that we've tried to do. I would say we are on that journey, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. And that really, diversity in my mind is not just around gender, is not just around ethnicity. It's also around, trying to create an environment where people from different backgrounds also have the ability and don't feel excluded from joining a particular industry. And I think that's very important. As we think of our business as we go forward, we're really trying to encourage our leaders to look in different areas and to recruit different types of people. So that they bring that diversity through from all over the place. So, traditionally we would probably, that's a horrid thing to say, but it's true, right? People would recruit people who are in their own image, right? And so one of the things that we're having to do is challenge that. So I ended up leaving school when I was 18. I worked in a bar for 9 months. And then I basically saved up enough money from doing that to buy myself a ticket, around the world air ticket. And, I did that backpacker thing for about 18 months, travelled all through Asia, Australia, through the Pacific, through the States and back home, worked for a period of time. Worked doing different things in Australia, including, washing dishes in the kitchen, working as an accounts clerk, all sorts of different things. By the way, I knew how to use a calculator. That's why I got the accounts clerk job. But it was the one thing that sort of experience led to for me was, didn't lead to any clarity from what I was going to do from a job perspective, but it did at least make me realise that I wanted to have a job where I was going to move around. I didn't want to be static, and I wanted a job as I went forward in life that involved some element of international travel, because I decided I really liked that element of it, and meeting people from different cultures, different backgrounds, and seeing and experiencing different cultures. So that was one of the things I sort of picked up from that period of time. I couldn't get a job. I mean, genuinely couldn't get a job. I wasn't a school leaver, and I wasn't a graduate. I started applying for jobs in shipping, and I went to, the thick end of 11 different companies, 11 different interviews, didn't get any of them. At which stage I was in a really dark place, because I thought, my God, actually, you know what, am I ever going to get a job that's not going to be, cutting lettuces and or digging holes for a landscape garden? But anyway, it was a pretty deep and dark place that you disappear off to. But there was an ad in there for an agency, and it was for a marine insurance broker. I thought, well, you know what? I went off for this interview with an employment agency, and that seemed to go all right. And they said, okay, we'll put you into, for this job. So off I rocked, thinking I was going to be interviewed to be a marine insurance broker. And I wasn't. I was interviewed to be a non-marine property North American broker. So nothing to do with marine. It was a pretty, I'm going to say, dire interview from the point of view of the questions I was asked. I certainly think if I was asking those questions of individuals now, like things like, can you do joined up handwriting? I found sort of slightly insulting. Whether or not I had another suit other than the one that I was wearing, similarly, didn't really appreciate it. But, turned around and sort of thought, well, I'm sure I could find one. So, and answered them. Anyway, they must have been desperate because they offered me a job. And so I started 2 weeks later doing something that I had no idea what it was that I was going to do, but that got me my first rung on the ladder in the city. I was living at home because couldn't afford to do anything else, travelling in, and off I went. And that was the sort of start of my career. Now, I would always say, don't discount yourself from anything, right? That's the first piece of advice to that I would give somebody is, others can discount you, don't discount yourself, right? And even if you try multiple times, don't think that means that you're not good at what you're actually doing. It just might be that for some reason, positions changed at a company or something along those lines, nothing to do with you, right? So never take these things personally and never discount yourself from it. From the point of view of what you can do and what you should do, anything that you can do always to to work on what your network is, right, and your own sort of presence is going to be really, really important. Don't think for a minute that HR departments don't look online to see what people are up to. They do, right? It's that is part and parcel of it. You have a digital footprint now, so be very careful of what that digital footprint is, would be the other piece of advice that I would give. And just make sure that you go for it, right? The only person that will hold you back is yourself. That's the other thing that I think is really, really important is it's your own perception of what you can achieve that holds you back. If you can stretch those boundaries, right, then you can push. And if you end up in a position where you're hitting a brick wall for some reason, you don't always have to, smash through it, right? Sometimes that's the right thing to do, but sometimes it's a good thing to go round, right? So you can take a little diversion for a period of time. There's nothing wrong. A lot of people I've heard over the years from career perspective, that's a sideways move or something along those lines. It doesn't matter, right? There are different routes to getting to the destination that you want to get to, and you should be prepared to flex and take them, right? Because sometimes doing that can be a lot less painful than actually trying to smash through something. If you keep learning and you keep being challenged, you tend to be interested. There are times in your life when you're fatigued. There are other things going on in your life when actually you just want to do a job for a while and not necessarily have that. But that challenge and desire to learn for me was the thing that has kept me motivated and in this industry for that period of time, because the industry's evolved massively from when I first started, and there's been huge change in it. And I've been able to be part and parcel of that change and actually drive quite a lot of it as well, from my own perspective, which has been good.